Okay, we're taking a look at Scotty's butterfly here. I've told Scotty a couple different times. I think that her butterfly might be potentially better than her breaststroke eventually. I mean, I think as she gets older and stronger, I really do think a lot of how she approaches butterfly, how she swims it. And I think breaststroke at a younger age, 11, 12, 13, is just it's an easier version of butterfly. I mean, there's so many similarities. And so I just wanted to say that, to her, to have her understand that I think that, we can always improve it, and when we're going to start by talking about it. But, overall, I really like what she's doing with her butterfly, and, these will be just like little tweaks. But so we're going to start off here. We have Scotty on the left and an Olympic trial qualifier. She's actually a national teamer. Her name's Taylor Pike, and she swam with me a few years ago. So I got some pretty good photos and videos of her from underwater, and I use her all the time when we're comparing butterfly. As we kind of go frame by frame, the similarities getting into the water are there between the two girls. As we go through it, okay, this is the biggest difference here as far as the undulation goes, and Scotty gets the head down, which is great, and what we're looking for is that butterfly triangle with the hips up, the head down, and then the hands way up here, okay? And you can kind of see what Taylor's doing, how deep her angle is from her hips to her head and her chest, and then up to her hands, and it creates this pretty awesome butterfly triangle. And if I can, I'll erase this one over here, and you can kind of see what the triangle with Scotty is. The hips are up, the head is down, but the hands are also down, so it kind of creates this angle here. And we just need her to move the hands up here while she pushes the head down, and it'll create the triangle that we desire. And what's important about the undulation is it's a couple things. One is, it drives those feet down, it drives the hips up. You can kind of see the angle here. But as we go through frame by frame, and if you watch the right-hand side of the screen, as she comes up, those hands act as like a whip. She's kind of whipping those hands behind her because she's using the force of the undulation as she comes up to do it, okay? So she isn't really putting a lot of pressure. Let me rewind it, and you can see how fast she actually goes through the water. There's no pressure on her shoulders while she's doing it. She's a 200 butterflyer, long course 200 butterflyer. She doesn't really get tired, and her second 100 is usually better than her first. And it's because of that undulation. We can kind of go through slow and just watch her on the right-hand side. Just keep your eyes on her. And you can see that getting that head and the chest down actually creates that force and the whip with her arms moving through the water. So, it's one thing. Scotty's really, really close, okay? So it's not anything drastic. And if you just take a look at the left side of the screen with Scotty now, the head position's there, right? The head's pushing down. We just got to make sure that the hands aren't following, okay? We got to keep the hands at the surface, push down, and try to get those hips up as much as we can. So you can see how low the arms are, and we're done with Taylor now, so I'll just go to this. You can just see how low the arms kind of get on her. A couple, they're away from the surface a little bit, but again, I love what Scotty's butterfly is doing. I think as she gets stronger, you're going to see things like undulation and kick and all those that really, really help fly. But you can take a look at the whip of the feet. There's a good knee bend there. She's driving her feet down below her body line. So this right here we call the ski jumper position, and you can see why. Okay, this is exactly what we're looking for when we go to breathe in butterfly. And I can't tell you how many kids I videotape that have their feet all the way out here dragging, okay? And Scotty's drive downwards is so important for the power. Besides the undulation, I think that the one thing I see is that there are times where Scotty's hands come really, really close. You can see how close her hands are coming, which is good. That's exactly what we want. And then there are other times that they're kind of farther apart, and her elbows have a tendency to drop. So we got to make sure. You can kind of see here the elbows dropping. Okay, so it kind of creates you know, there isn't as much pull here, let's say if the elbows were still up, and you can kind of create all of this pull. So really, in terms of importance, I would say continue to work the undulation first, and then secondary is keeping those hands underneath your body and keeping the elbows up. Okay, but everything else looks really, really solid, and I think the progressions are definitely there. I'll let you kind of watch it. And watch that, let me rewind it here. So right here, just be careful of pushing the hands out. You can see that the palm is sort of facing the camera. Remember, we don't really want to be pushing out in butterfly, and that might be a reason why you're not hitting your hands underneath your body, is that we're just getting a little wide at the entry. You just want to make sure that those hands come in and you start that pull right away. So, you know, the palms want to be facing down when you go to take that pull.